once again, dear viewers, you're watching ERi-TV. Welcome to this week's open mic. My guest for this evening is Miss Therese Poirier. I hope I have pronounced the name correctly. She is the UNAIDS country director here in Eritrea, and today we are celebrating International World AIDS Day, and we will be talking extensively about the day. Welcome to our program.
Thank you for having me, Rafael.
All right. Okay. So, Mr. Therese, I'll call you Therese. Okay.
No problem.
So, Therese, please tell me, what is the theme of this year's World AIDS Day, and how is this year's commemoration different than the ones we've seen before?
Thank you, first of all, for having me. The theme of the World AIDS Day this year is Global Solidarity, Shared Responsibility. As you know, with what is going on with the COVID, more than ever, we need this global solidarity and have, because no one is safe until everyone is safe. So that is the thematic for this year. And you can imagine that this year it's not like other years, because
exactly.
We are now talking about dual pandemic. It's COVID, but also we can't forget this HIV AIDS.
Exactly.
Which used to be a very huge pandemic.
Yeah, because here in Eritrea, nobody's talking about AIDS, HIV/AIDS anymore. The story of COVID is basically stronger nowadays.
Yeah, exactly, because COVID have threatened everything. But in Eritrea, maybe they are also not talk about it, because Eritrea have made a huge progress in terms of HIV. So that's why at the moment the focus is on HIV, on COVID. Mm-hmm. And thanks God, we are handling it also, the COVID, very well.
All right. Okay, Therese, this is this was the question I wanted to ask you briefly. What is the global situation of HIV/AIDS, and how does it look like here in Eritrea?
Okay. Thank you for asking this question. At the moment, we are talking about 38 million people living with HIV. And when we compare to how it look like, when we talk about 38 million, we have 36.2 million adult and 1.8 million children living with HIV. So we are talking about 81% of people who know their status, but we still, unfortunately, 7.1 million who don't know their status. Okay. So HIV is still a threat. It's no longer a death sentence, but it is still a threat, because
it is still a threat.
It is still a threat. We have actually 26 million people on antiretroviral, what we call IRT, so antiretroviral therapy. But to end HIV, we need to ensure that we have maximum people who know their status. And when they know their status, if they are HIV positive, we put them on treatment. And if we put them on treatment, we have chance that the virus is suppressed. That's how they no longer transmitted. I don't know if you have ever heard about the 1990, this target. That is where the world wants to go. If we want to end HIV by 2030, we need at least, at the end of this month, the world should have reached the 1990. 1990 means 90% of people living with HIV know their status. Among the 90% who know their status, if we put them on treatment, then we have chance that those 90% among themselves, they will be having their virus suppressed and they will no longer transmit HIV. Here in Eritrea, we are at 85, 73, 85, 86, 73, 85. So we are still a little lagging behind, but we are on track. We are on track. And if we talk about death, actually last year, and by end of 2019, we have almost 60,090 thousand people who die with HIV. So HIV is still
world over.
Yeah, world over. Yeah. In Eritrea, if we compare, before we used having like 1,400, but now last year it was 390. So there's some progress.
Therese, I understand it better when you talk to me in percentile. So please tell me where we stand when we talk in percentage-wise.
Okay. Where we stand at the moment as Eritrea or global?
As Eritrea.
Okay. As Eritrea, as I said, Eritrea have really, I'm impressed by the progress they have made, especially in what we call elimination mother-to-child transmission. You agree with me that if there is something which really is very heartbreaking is when a kid born with HIV.
Exactly.
Now science is there. No one should really be anymore born with HIV. Because if every mother know that she's pregnant, she go to hospital, she's be tested, and if she's HIV positive, there are some medication they give her, and the kid doesn't need to be born with HIV. For that, Eritrea have doing well, because now we are at 1.8%. But ideally, we want to be at 1 or even 0% below. But actually, the minimum is 4%. If you go beyond 4, you are on good track. Now here we are at 1.8, but we can do better. We can still there is room to keep improving and save life, because each life matters.
Each life matters, definitely. Especially the fact that we need to still remember that it is still a threat.
Exactly.
All right. Therese, what progress has Eritrea made in the past few years?
Eritrea, for example, they scale up access to HIV treatment. They scale up this initiative, Elimination Mother-to-Child. They are working with Global Fund on really ensure that services are offered to everybody, which is very good. And also, Eritrea is trying to, what is good, everyone have access to services. But we will talk about later, sometimes there are people who don't go to it for the services.
Okay. So, there is still huge progresses there, don't you say, when compared to other nations, especially in Africa?
Yeah, if we compare with Africa, because currently Eritrea, we have almost 9,000 people on treatment, which is good. But if we can, as I said, if we can reach more people knowing their status, it means that we can put more people, those who are positive, on treatment. And then that's because at the end of the day, the goal is to reach 0 new infection, 0 death, HIV, AIDS-related, and of course, 0 stigma. And we will talk about that later.
Okay. Now, actually, I want to talk about this stigma right now. I mean, how do you view it nowadays? Is the disease stigmatized as it was before?
Yes, in some countries, it is still really the big barrier to end HIV. Because even what I realize, which is here, it's sometimes people get self-stigma by themselves. So one of the key messages to the society, if we can really stop stigma, so people understand that you don't get HIV because I say hi to you, because I hug you, because we eat together. There is no reason to stigmatize people living with HIV. Because the more you stigmatize them, the more they hide. The more and then they don't access to services, and then they keep transmitting. So this is really a message I wish I could really convey to stop stigma. The day we will stop stigma all over the world, it's not only in Eritrea, that day will really being almost reaching the target to end HIV as a public threat by 2030.
Okay, now today we are commemorating it's World AIDS Day. And I want you to give me the messages to everyone watching this interview.
Okay, thank you for asking this question. The message is it's twofold. Number one is HIV is still there. It is something that we can cure. Science have made a lot of progress, but please, I exhort everyone to know their status. The more you know status, and the sooner you know, the better you can live longer and positively. So if I have to convey a message, it is to ensure that everyone knows their status, especially among adolescents and young people. Because nowadays, there are some complacency, if I can call it like that. So people, they no longer use condoms. Sometimes they don't, they say, the HIV is no longer a problem. We can cure it. But this complacency kills us. That's why it's important, lady, if someone could know his status. Mm-hmm. The second message is, if, lady, that's something the society can do to stop this stigma, as I said, because it is one of the big barriers, the stigma, and stop self-stigma. It is, HIV is no longer a self-sentence and a death sentence, and also we need to respect the right of everyone. So I think it is important to, and you can help us if people we become friendly with everyone who is, we show compassion instead of stigmatize people. Mm-hmm. That is very important.
Therese, just one follow-up question with that. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody's talking about this vaccination in the U.S., elsewhere, for COVID-19. Are there any hopes for vaccines to curing HIV/AIDS?
There have been those tentatives long ago. Sometimes we think we are almost there, but it is still not yet there. I hope that because now they are pushing for a pandemic, a vaccine for COVID, they will not keep progressing on HIV vaccine. But because it is really, again, the message, no one is safe until everyone is safe. So I hope that soon now we will get this vaccine.
All right. Therese, any final words before we wrap up? Because we are running close to the end of our program.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me that lady chance to talk. One message, it's lady, I'm impressed for what I have seen. I've been here for only some months, and I'm really impressed for this the resilience of Eritrean people, and this way of self-reliance. That's how I have hope, because people are hard workers. When I arrived, it was time that we were working within the Ministry of Health with Communicable Disease Division. This is a good behavior. So it's important. And what is good also, they recognize that as international community can go and support the effort which are already there. So I'm grateful that you give me this opportunity to thank the minister I have been working with, Minister of Health, Minister of National Development, Foreign Affairs, of course, Minister of Labor, because that's how some of our key population at high risk, they go under this ministry, and of course, education, information, so that it is important that we keep working together, because I know that Eritrea can make it. We can end HIV soon.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Rafael.
Dear viewers, that wraps up this week's Open Mic. Remember, HIV is still a threat.
And get tested. Know your status.
Yeah. It is good night from us.